Hey guys, today I'm going to do my Super Bowl 55 video. A year ago I did my Super Bowl 54 and 55 video talking about Revelation and Hudson Bay. And I haven't edited or changed any of the titles or any of the information in the description or any of the comments or anything, but I just want to show you guys that I've been looking at this for a long time, and I recommend that you go back and maybe watch this video. But there's a definite connection between Super Bowl 54 and Super Bowl 55. And I had a whole other video planned to do about Super Bowl 55 a long time ago. I just never really got around to it. Still have all that stuff in a folder, but some new information has come out very recently that kind of show these two Super Bowls connected in a very similar way here. But we have Super Bowl 55, and I'll be talking about the golden ratio and how we saw it last year in Super Bowl 54, gold rituals and the golden ratio rituals. But the number 55 is the 10th Fibonacci number and also the 10th triangular number. Of course, Fibonacci numbers are related to the golden ratio. We're talking a little bit about the golden ratio with this Super Bowl, among some other things. So if we look at a little review here about Super Bowl 54, one of the biggest rituals they showed us last year was during the halftime show. They showed us the Venus-Pleiades conjunction. This was the symbol for Venus, and all these little dots or stars here with the children in the cages. That represented the Pleiades cluster. And that actual Venus-Pleiades conjunction happened on April 3rd, 2020. But they showed it to us in the Super Bowl. And what's interesting about Super Bowl 54 being held at Hard Rock Stadium is that the address of Hard Rock Stadium was 347 Don Shula Drive, and that just happens to be the right ascension coordinates of the Pleiades. The right ascension coordinates are 3 hours, 47 minutes. So absolutely perfect ritual to do at the Super Bowl for the upcoming Venus-Pleiades conjunction on 4/3/2020. But just a quick review that what we saw last year, and we're going to expect to see some other rituals this year with other types of celestial alignments, most likely with Super Bowl 55. Probably golden ratio or other gold or eclipse rituals. Also Super Bowl 54. We had the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, San Francisco associated with the Golden Gate. And together with the open star cluster of the Hyades, the Pleiades form the Golden Gate of the ecliptic. So just another part of the ritual here for this Super Bowl 54 last year on Groundhog Day. But just want to show you how important it is, what they showed us last year, and then this year we want to look for other celestial alignment rituals as well. So along with this Venus-Pleiades conjunction that we had on April 3rd, 2020, there were three very important rare celestial events that happened in 2020. The first one was on January 13th, and that was a direct Saturn-Sun conjunction. I believe it was the first time in 29 years that Saturn appeared to pass directly behind the Sun. That happened on January 13th. Then we had the Venus-Pleiades conjunction on April 3rd. And what was rare about that is the planet Venus actually passed through the star cluster of the Pleiades. And then, of course, recently here we had the great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter on the winter solstice, December 21st. And if we add all those dates together, 113, 43, and 1221. You can see here they sum to 1377. And if you're familiar with my channel, you'll already know that that's the focus of my channel, Revelation 8:11. Show this many times when we take the ordinal gematria value of Revelation 8:11. Sums to 1377. So very interesting that these three rare celestial events on the dates they happen sum to this 1377 number. Just very interesting. I'll be showing you some more numbers associated with the 8:11 here at the end of the video with the Super Bowl and other Super Bowls. So this year we're going to have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course Tom Brady, the quarterback for the Buccaneers, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. His first name, Thomas, means twin, and I've done other videos about him, but being his first name, the etymology means twin. We're going to take a look at some twin symbolism and what the twin symbolism, what the actual teams are, and what the twin symbolism with some other legal ideas that I think the Super Bowl is all about. But one of the golden ratio rituals and one of the celestial rituals we possibly could see here are about the eclipse, the upcoming eclipse on June 10th, 2021. There's an annular solar eclipse on 6/10, and 6/10 is the 15th Fibonacci number. And that eclipse is going to pass over Hudson Bay. And I mentioned Hudson Bay in the last Super Bowl video I did a year ago. So very relevant to this Super Bowl as well. But what's interesting, if we look at Tom Brady's birthday, he was born on August 3rd, 1977. And on the day of this eclipse, he'll be 16,018 days old. And 1.618, of course, is the golden ratio. And 610 is the 15th Fibonacci number, which is related to the golden ratio, those Fibonacci numbers. So just a very interesting correlation here. I'm sure we'll see golden ratio or gold or eclipse rituals here. Possibly Hudson Bay rituals. Now here's the twin symbolism I'm going to talk about, or show you guys what I think the Super Bowl is about this year. There's a couple different types of ideas about twins. When you start looking at the origin of the United States. Now this is the 8 USC Chapter 12, Subchapter 3, Nationality and Naturalization, from Title 8, Aliens and Nationality. And I'll leave some links in the description here. But this is basically, you can find this other places too, the Immigration and Nationality Act. But part of the twin symbolism here is that anyone who was born in the United States is considered a U.S. citizen and also a U.S. national. Two very different types of citizenships, but you have both. The following shall be nationals and citizens of the United States at birth. Any person born in the United States. There's also a whole list of other defining characteristics of a national and a citizen. And this goes back to 1933, shortly after the stock market crash in 1929. And coming into 1933, all kinds of legal acts and different things were going on in order to create this U.S. citizen and legally tax everybody in the United States by registering their birth. That's part of the twin symbolism that I'm going to show you guys here, how it works with the Super Bowl. The fact that everyone born in the United States is a national and a U.S. citizen, U.S. national and U.S. citizen. And both of those types of citizenship have different privileges and meanings or obligations. So I've talked about Barack Obama before, and of course, if you remember with the Trump campaign, or Donald Trump and Barack Obama, there was a controversy over Barack Obama's birth certificate. And you might remember this picture. It was kind of a famous picture with Barack Obama with Superman. And of course, Superman is an alien. And if we try to find the word alien here in this nationality, these nationality laws, alien, of course, is a word associated with immigration and nationality. And there was a big controversy over whether Barack Obama was an American or if he was actually born abroad in Kenya. But the symbolism here with Superman is that Superman, of course, is technically an alien from the planet Krypton. And he landed in Smallville, Kansas. And we have the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year, last year as well. And if you remember the movie The Watchmen, the blue Dr. Manhattan, they say he is the Superman exists, and he is an American. Kind of a play on words if you think of it in the context of nationality. What's interesting about Barack Obama, he did end up releasing his birth certificate. And this is what you would call the genealogy or county birth certificate. And you can see here the name on this type of birth certificate. You may have one of these types. I do. I have both types of birth certificates. But the name can appear in either all caps or upper and lower on the county or genealogy birth certificate. And the difference here is that on this type of birth certificate, you actually have the signature of the attendant of the birth. In this case, it was a medical doctor that certifies that the child was born alive. Actually gives a time and date of birth, an actual time, and the county and state. The county or genealogy birth certificate is fairly detailed, but the main feature that I want to talk about here is that it actually gives the signature of the person who has the authority to certify that the baby was born alive. Now, as opposed to the other type of birth certificate I'll show you here, this type of birth certificate, which you may have also, I have both. This has the fancy blue border, and all the font on this type of birth certificate is in all capital letters. And what this fancy blue outside decorative border signifies that the name is in a trust. And anything inside this decorative border, inside this border, is called the sanctuary. But this type of birth certificate, the font will always be all caps. And this fancy blue border indicates that it's a type of trust. So if we look at the word capital, the word capital is a homograph, meaning it's spelled the same, but it can have different meanings. And if you look at one of the definitions of capital, of or conforming to the series capital A, capital B, capital C, rather than lowercase a, b, c. So capital can denote upper and lowercase. But it can also mean relating to or being assets that add to the long-term net worth of a corporation. So capital, upper, lower, case letters also can mean assets or capital of a corporation. Now let's go back here and take a quick look at Obama's birth certificate. Again, on these types of birth certificates, the names may or may not be all capital. They might be upper lower as well. What I want to point out here is that Obama's mother is from Wichita, Kansas. And we have Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl this year. Now I'm well aware that the Kansas City Chiefs are technically from Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. But there's definitely a Kansas theme that goes here. Capital letters, assets, or upper lowercase. I think on this type of birth certificate, they're symbolizing both. They're for sure symbolizing the asset or corporation. So who are you? This is part of our twin symbolism. Who are you? You are the living dead. You're known as a corporate soul. Corp means dead. The root word of corp means dead. You are a living being bonded to an artificial person through the registration of your name that created the birth certificate. And anytime you see the word person, person means an individual, partnership, joint stock company, trust, voluntary association, corporation, agency, or other organization or enterprise doing business. And that goes along with the capital letter symbolism on the state-created birth certificate. But what happened here, when your parents gave you your name, they registered it with the state. Now, there is no conspiracy with the doctors or the nurses. They're just following protocol and procedure when they hand you that paperwork when your child is born. But when you hand that paperwork to them and you register, you put the name down and you register that name, registering that name creates the trust, because the all caps artificial person that is on the birth certificate is actually based on the abandoned biological property. The placenta is the dead or dying biological property as part of a complete live birth. If you look at the paperwork that the nurses or doctors fill out when a child is born, they count the number of vessels that are extracted from the mother. And there are 3 vessels: the baby, which is the living being, the umbilical cord, which is the pipeline, and the placenta, which is the dead or dying abandoned biological property, which they give the all caps name to. And the all caps or artificial person is known as the decedent legal estate. So you're the living being bonded to this artificial or decedent legal estate that's created from the abandoned biological property. Now there's many examples of this analogy with that decedent legal estate giving a name to the placenta, the dead or dying biological property. I could show many examples, and I had a lot of other examples in another folder here, but I'll just give you the most easy one to understand. If you know the movie The Blob, as you can see here, the blob actually looks like kind of like a placenta, and it kills and absorbs the living people. Just like the placenta, the abandoned biological property becomes the artificial or dead entity, the all caps name bonded to the living being. But that's the symbolism behind the blob, is that the artificial person is actually based on the decedent, dead or dying, abandoned biological property. And like I said, there is no conspiracy with the doctors or nurses. They're just following protocol and procedure with this paperwork. But That's basically the operation of law of how this living dead or corporate soul is created. And the other analogy that's going on right now with this living and dead entity bonded together, if we look at the sun could be considered the living celestial entity. It's warm and life-giving. And while the moon could be the cold and putrefying or dead celestial body. And when you bond the sun and moon together, they expose the corona. That's why they've been saying, for the last year, that even if you are a healthy person, you could have the corona, or you have the corona, because you're this bonded corporate soul, the living and the dead entities bonded together. So here's more of this corona symbolism that I talked about in the last video. The longest total solar eclipse of the 21st century passed over Wuhan, China on July 22nd, 2009. Then we have the total lunar eclipse that will be visible over American Samoa on May 26, 2021, coming up here. There's 618 weeks between the solar and lunar eclipse. 618, a reference to the golden ratio. Now, how does this tie in with the U.S. national, U.S. citizen, living dead, corporate soul, birth certificate stuff? Well, this total lunar eclipse, it's coming and will happen over American Samoa in May. When we look at the territory of American Samoa and we look at their laws, their nationality laws, according to the Immigration and Nationality Act, the people born in American Samoa, including those born on Swains Island, are nationals but not citizens of the United States at birth. So if you're born in American Samoa, this is the only territory of the United States that if you're born there, you do not become a U.S. citizen by birth. American Samoa is the only place you can be born where you don't have this dual or twin citizenship you're born with. And this U.S. citizen, of course, is responsible for taxes. And that's the main reason that the U.S. citizen was created, a legal way to tax your output. Because the U.S. national actually existed when the United States was founded. You were known only as a U.S. national and a private American citizen. But American Samoa, only place you can be born and not be a U.S. citizen. That's part of the U.S. territories. Connected to the coronavirus, connected to the golden ratio. So here's the symbolism with the Super Bowl 55 here. I showed you guys 8 USC, U.S. Code, section symbol 1401. The following shall be nationals and citizens of the United States at birth, a person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. National and citizen, U.S. national, U.S. citizen. The Kansas City Chiefs, we're going to call those the native, in parentheses, the Native Americans. These are the private American nationals that existed at the beginning of the founding of the country in 1776. They were under the law of the land. Their laws were based on previous cases. Basically, their law followed more strict and easy to understand rules, I guess you could say. And then we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A buccaneer, of course, is a pirate. And the pirates follow the law of the sea or admiralty law. And that would be the U.S. citizen. And this law that the U.S. citizens are under is Roman civil law, which works on presumptions. Whereas the law of the land works on, I guess, a clear-cut set of rules, you could say. But you have the U.S. nationals versus the U.S. citizens in the Super Bowl. Law of the land versus law of the sea. Native Americans versus the Pirates. The Buccaneers. Now this just happened here a few days ago. We had the Saved by the Bell actor, Dustin Neil Diamond. He passed away on February 1st. And of course, when I see his middle and last name here, immediately it reminded me of Neil Diamond, the singer. Now if we take a look here, Neil Diamond was born on January 24th, 1941. And if we go to the day that Dustin Diamond passed away, it was 80 years and 8 days after Neil Diamond's birth. Of course, 88 is the speed that you need to reach for time travel, to go back in time. And this U.S. national citizenship existed from the time the United States was founded on July 4th, 1776, and it only existed for a short time. I can't remember if it was 1789 when the Constitution was drafted, or if it was all the way through up to 1871. But this U.S. national citizenship only existed for a certain amount of time, either 1776 to 1789 or 1776 to 1871. I can't remember off the top of my head how that exactly worked, but the point is, if you want to become a U.S. national only, symbolically you need to go back in time to occupy this time period when U.S. people living in the U.S. were actually private American nationals. Okay, so we have Neil Diamond, Dustin Neil Diamond. Now here's the other part of this riddle with Screech and Saved by the Bell. We had Screech dress up as an alien in an episode of Saved by the Bell called Close Encounters of the Nerd Kind, Season 2, Episode 12, and it aired on November 23rd, 1990. And if we go from November 23rd, 1990 to the upcoming Super Bowl, well, actually what we're looking at here is that the dates are reciprocals. The day the episode came out was on the 327th day of the year with 38 days remaining, and then the Super Bowl is on the 38th day of the year with 327 remaining. This is the point I was trying to get across here. But we have Screech dressed as an alien. Again, alien is a homograph as well. Could refer to a non-U.S. citizen or a person foreign to the United States. Or it can refer to an alien from outer space. Another one of those dual meaning words. But here's the part that's very interesting. We had a mystery light over Los Angeles on November 7th, 2015. This was a tweet from Kenny Holmes, a semi-famous Twitter person here. The bright LA light was not alien Screech from Saved by the Bell coming back to visit Bayside High School. Tweeted this on November 7th, 2015, the night of the mysterious LA, Los Angeles light. And if we go to the Super Bowl, it's 19 days, 1,919 days. And I've covered that extensively before as well. I did a video, one of my favorite videos that I've done, Revelation 19:19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. This verse of Revelation actually kind of sounds like an alien invasion. The earth is going to be taking on the army from heaven. Now, one more thing with this Revelation 19:19. This is the 339th verse of Revelation. If we go back to 2/26/1993, that was the date of the first World Trade Center bombing, to this date of 5/26/2021, this lunar eclipse over the American Samoa. It's exactly 339 months. Just like Revelation 19:19 is the 339th verse of Revelation. Just wanted to point that out real quick. The 19:19. I've documented this many times before, but it's related to that verse of Revelation. Alien, an immigration term as well as a term for an alien from outer space. And what this actually ended up being, this light, it was confirmed as a naval missile test. Of course, the Navy is associated with water, law of the sea, U.S. citizens. It's one of Neil Diamond's famous songs. It was called America. And one of the parts of the chorus, they're coming to America. Neil Diamond, they're coming to America. Screech, Dustin Neil Diamond dressed as an alien, connected to Super Bowl, two different ways. Close Encounters. Oh, this is interesting. This 212. The events of 9/11 happened in the area code of 212. And coming up on 2/12/2021, that's the first day of the ox year. Now I'm going to get into this later in another video. But if we look at this Wikipedia page about planets beyond Neptune, the two proposed planets beyond Neptune were the 9th planet was planet O, and the 10th planet was planet X, O and X, the ox. I'll get to that later, but those were the two planets that were proposed beyond Neptune, the 9th and 10th planets, O and X. We're coming up to the ox year on 212. Another interesting connection here to the Super Bowl was the Pentagon UFO videos. There were 3 UFO videos, and they were called FLIR, Gimbal, and Go Fast. And if you notice here, they were all written in capital letters. And they were released by the Pentagon on April 27, 2020. They formerly released these videos on that date. And from April 27, 2020 to the Super Bowl, 9 months, 11 days. Another 9/11 connection. See if it's on this page. But after 9/11, Neil Diamond changed up his words to his song America, and did a concert benefiting 9/11. But he was related to 9/11 as well by changing up his words to the song America. But the Pentagon, kind of interesting, they released the UFO videos, all capitals, 9 months, 11 days before the Super Bowl. Now here's the kind of the slam dunk that I'm going to say that connects all this together with the with Venus, with the America theme, the Super Bowl theme, and the 8/11 theme that I follow. Is that Neil Diamond, he sang the national anthem at Super Bowl 21 on January 25th, 1987. And Super Bowl 21 was in Pasadena, California, at the Rose Bowl. The rose is associated with Venus, the Earth-Venus orbital ratio, forms the pentagram of Venus, or the Venus rose, the 5 points of the Venus pentagram. But from the day that he sang the national anthem at Super Bowl 21 to the date of Super Bowl 55, it's exactly 1,776 weeks. America was founded on the 8th month and 11th day after a Venus star point, and actually it was founded on the 8th month and 11th day after a complete Venus pentagram. And the 811 is connected to 1776. If we add all the permutations of 811, it's 1110. Now 811 is the 141st prime. If we add all the permutations into this as well, sums to 1776. As I pointed out many times before, Revelation 8:11 is the 141st verse of Revelation. Perfectly mathematically placed to coincide with its prime number. There you go. I think that's what the Neil Diamond, Dustin Diamond, all the alien, space alien, immigration, nationality, reference to the alien. The Super Bowl is connected to the types of citizenships. It'll be very interesting to see who wins this Super Bowl. Connected to the eclipses, with Tom Brady being 16,018 days old on the annular solar eclipse on 610, which is a Fibonacci number, 1618, the golden ratio. Thomas means twin. Now, I had a lot more to do with this video, but it's probably already long the way it is, but there's a lot more I could have showed you guys. Just a lot of very, very interesting connections, connecting last year's Super Bowl, this year's Super Bowl, the Pleiades, all the symbolism. And I'll let you guys read this famous line from the movie The Matrix. Of course, the Matrix appears in the Bible 4 times, the word the Matrix. Let you read through that. Basically, Morpheus exactly describes what's going on in this world. Now, I'll leave you guys with this. That has to do with this idea of the registered birth certificate and the U.S. national, U.S. citizen theme. You have an 18-digit divine trust number. And that number is based on the date and actual time you were born. And I'm not exactly sure where that calculator is or how they calculate that 18-digit trust number, but it's in 3 groups of 6, like a 666. And it can also begin with an OH, this 18-digit number. OH, of course, is the prefix for the state of Ohio. We just had the Great Conjunction, and the Ohio flag actually features the Great Conjunction Trigon. Now, what's interesting about this 18-digit divine trust number, 3 groups of 6 numbers, 666, is that when we look at the certificate of nationality for a U.S. national as opposed to a U.S. citizen, there is no certificate for a U.S. national. So what they do is they note it on the passport with these words: the bearer is a United States national and not a United States citizen. And if we plug those into the gematria calculator, English ordinal, sum to 666. Of course, The 666 is from Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The living being, the living man. If you were to associate that with the two different types of citizenships or nationalities, the living man would be the U.S. national, where the U.S. citizen would be the artificial person. Neo lives in the Matrix, or the artificial world, and he takes the red pill and goes back to the real world. Okay, guys, I know it's been a while since I did a video. I'm very far behind, but try to get more out to you when I can. Okay, thanks for watching.